All right. Thank you for joining. Today we will go over Bitcoin, BTC, USDT, P on the Bybit chart. So I just want to keep things very simple like always. What I've done is just pulled the fixed range volume profile tool from the current range. So after we got this massive impulse from $97, shooting it back into the $100,000 range, we've just been consolidating sideways, right? That's all that's been happening. A slight uptrend still, but for the most part, we are just consolidating. It's just sideways price action, right? So what we did was we chose this range between 98,000 to the previous all-time high, which is 126,000. We pulled the tool to cover that entire range, and now we can see what is the value area low, value area high, and point of control of that range. Now, what is this? Why is this important? Because the markets are an auction, right? Where are buyers less interested? Where are buyers more interested? Now, you can clearly see buyers are more interested at the value area low. That's when people think they're getting Bitcoin at a discount, and that's why price typically moves up once it comes close to that value area low area. And then it's just the opposite at the value area high. People think that they are overpaying for the asset, so they begin to sell. Less buyers are active at these highs, so price then begins to sell off, as you can see, right? Price comes up, gets very expensive for one Bitcoin. More sellers, more people are selling at this price, pushing price down. The area, fair value, where Bitcoin is being traded for this entire range since May, the fair value is around 110,000. It's almost like the average price, where if you buy it there, compared to everyone else that's traded, that's around like the average price. And that's why a lot of times you'll see price just hanging out close to that point of control, as you can see now. So what does this tell us? It told us that even though price attempted to trade higher than the previous all-time high, which was 124,000, we failed to maintain that high because people just still think over 125,000 per Bitcoin is just way too expensive. We sold off, even though this was before the major dip. Price was struggling. Then what typically happens is you will get a rotation to the point of control, because that's just the area where most transactions are going on, and that's what's happened here, right? So failed to retain these highs. More sellers came into play. Price eventually sold off. Found a little bit of balance right here at the point of control. More buyers stepped in again. Same thing happened. Came back down. People wanted to sell off, so they sold some more. Then buyers stepped back in at the value area low, and it just keeps happening back and forth. And then that leaves us to where we are right now, right? Let's go ahead and zoom in on the 4-hour time frame. So same thing's happening. More people wanted to sell Bitcoin, maybe because of this massive liquidation which happened. So it scared a lot of people. Sellers were in control. But once they got to around the $103,000 range or lows, buyers stepped in and realized that getting Bitcoin close to the $100,000 was good enough for them, because they expect price to continue up. So then where does price go? Back up to the point of control where most of the transactions are going on. A little bit more sellers stepped in again, but then a big buyer came in, pushed price up. People sold again. So this is just a fair value range. It just seems like this 105 to 110,000 range is just the current fair value for Bitcoin, where people are just okay transacting at the moment. Now, will we get another push to the upside? Given the value rotation theory, the highest probability from this area is to once again go to the value area high, right? It's just kind of what happens here during this rotation. So the value area high is looking like the next major target. That's also where the most sellers stepped in aggressively, so leaving a lot of liquidity up here around 120,000 mark. And you can even see here, right, even with this sell-off candle, 4-hour candle, buyers stepped in again right here at around 109 and continuously pushing the price up over the past pretty much 8 hours. So we do have buyers interested. I'm not sure how long we will consolidate here, but my guess is, it is a guess because no one knows what's going to happen. My guess is that Bitcoin will slowly will start to get more and more buyers, and rotate once again up to the value area high. And what do I think will happen at those highs? High probability we go for the new all-time high again. But as you can see, that value area high lines up with my NAV, right? NAV golden pocket. That's the .75 and 786, right? So something I made up. Along with this was my original golden pocket. Chart Champions Daniel did this one. But I've been using this golden pocket, which he created, and a .75 for quite some time, because this .75 area just seems to be an area where there is a lot of action lately. Price has been respecting it very well. And then I went ahead and also added the 786. So this is like the new golden pocket, which I would say works out pretty well. And I just call it the NAV. So the NAV zone right here, if you want to get more precise, right here, lines up perfectly, as I said, right, with the value area high. So that's where I would be looking to possibly look for a short if we get some weakness, right? Some signs of weakness here, then I'll then be looking to short it back into the point of control zone there. All right. So that's pretty much it with Bitcoin. Let's see what happens. If we lose the value area low and the selling pressure continues, then that just means the next major area for us. Let's go ahead and just pull the fixed range volume profile from this low. Yeah, there's a lot of volume here, so more than likely we'll get a little bit of a bounce here at 94,000. Now if that fails as a point of control of this range, sitting at about $84,000. And if we take this entire area, right, into consideration, the point of control of this entire area sits at around 97,000. So if we begin to lose this area, look for 97,000 to be the next area where we can see a lot of buyers step in, taking out these lows. Very interesting area, actually. So yeah, keep that in mind. We can continue to move down. If so, I would be targeting 97,000. If we hold this level, I'm targeting 120,000, right? So let's just see how this plays out over the next few weeks, possibly next few days. We have our targets, price and everything else is looking very interesting. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Let me go ahead and delete this one. We don't need that anymore. I'll keep this because this is a little deviation range below. But yeah, this is all we really need to pay attention to for now. And yeah, for your scalp traders, day traders, we are at resistance, rejected. I don't like trading at the point of control, but maybe there's a higher probability we then start to move to the downside, back down to 106,000. But this is where I would be looking to possibly enter another long, because that's where buyers stepped in before, and you just have to wait to see if buyers are willing to step in at those lows once again. So right now it's kind of like a no trade zone. The very aggressive scalp traders probably took a short on this liquidity grab, and then yeah, profited maybe $1,000 or so. But yeah, in my opinion, I'd wait for these lows to be tested one more time, wait for a little bit of buying pressure to come in, and then just aim for the upside. All right, so that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining. Like and subscribe. Follow me in X. Leave a comment down below, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, take care.